Hi! I'm finally here to do another video. Haven't done one of these in a while, of course. But I'm continuing the Busting Dragon Ball Myths segment, and today I want to talk about not only Vegeta's relationship with Frieza, but the Saiyans' relationship with Frieza. And then the second part of the video, I'll probably go into like why Vegeta is not really that tragic of a character. Um, and the reason I'm making this video now is because Dragon Ball Super is getting into the Resurrection F arc. And Resurrection F is almost out, I think, on DVD, so I'll finally be able to watch it, not only in English, in HQ quality, but in Japanese as well. And you guys already know how I felt about the movie. I thought the story was ass. I might feel a little differently about it later. We'll see. And, yeah, that's why I'm doing the video now. Quick update on my life. I've just been playing Metal Gear Solid 5. Fantastic game. My favorite in terms of just themes and writing and all that. But yeah, it's a fantastic game. I'll probably do a review on that on my channel later. But yeah, I definitely want to talk about Vegeta and like I really want people to understand his character because there's a lot of misconceptions about his character and about his relationship with Frieza, and just about that entire history between Frieza and the Saiyans back in the day. So that's what this video is going to serve as, sort of like an informational video to that, and sort of destroy the image that Vegeta was this tragic character because of his past. Because one, that's not one. That's just simply not true. His past does not make him a tragic character, and I'm going to explain why. And then and then I'll talk about Frieza's relationship with the Saiyans. So to start off, I do want to talk about like how people view the relationship with the Saiyans. Frieza's relationship with the Saiyans. They assume like it was sort of like a master-slave sort of relationship, and that wasn't really the case. It is true that Frieza was stronger than the Saiyans, that he could have beaten them all. Well, he did kill them all, pretty well, mostly all of them with his own hand, with just nothing more than his little index finger. But he never acted as a slave driver to them. Many folks assume that the Saiyans were quote unquote enslaved by Frieza, that they were like this sort of wrongful sort of that they were these people that were wronged, that they were wronged, and that they were forced to work under Frieza for no reason, which is not the case at all. The truth of the matter is that the Saiyans actually respected Frieza. And we actually see that in the series, because a lot of times when we see like a lot of the flashbacks, and I'm strictly going to be talking about the Japanese version of the series here, so because that old dub of DBZ that came out on Toonami, as I've said so many times on this channel already, was just not an accurate dub, and so it didn't portray the characters and the story perfectly. And that's why we have Kai now with Funimation, because Kai is just better. But I'm just going to be referencing the Japanese version, the manga, and pretty much Kai. And so, in the Japanese version, Frieza is always referred to as Freeza-sama, not just by the Saiyans, but by a lot of the people that work under him. And why? Because a lot of people respect him. A lot of people admire him. A lot of people idolize him, so to speak. And usually that sama suffix in Japanese means that it's supposed to denote someone of a lot of importance. It's generally used to like call someone a god, basically. So like Buddha-sama, Jesus-sama, Christ-sama, like things like that, right? And so it's used quite a lot in Dragon Ball. Like Beerus is called Beerus-sama because Beerus is a god. He is a lord. He's a deity. Frieza-sama is called Frieza-sama because he believes himself to be a god and someone of like high self-importance. Vegeta is called Vegeta-sama early on in the during the Saiyan arc and the Namek arc, because not during the Namek arc, but during the Saiyan arc by Raditz and Nappa, because he is of Saiyan royalty. He is a lord, and so nobility and royalty are always used like the sama. And religious royalty, so to speak, religious deities always use the sama suffix. And so it's supposed to denote someone who's worthy of your respect. And, even Kaio, King Kai is called in the dub, he's called Kaio-sama. The Kaioshin, the Supreme Kai, he's called Kaioshin-sama. So, all the Saiyans always referred to Frieza as Frieza-sama because they respected him, they admired him, and they, in a sense, idolized him. And so there was never any friction between the Saiyans as a race as a whole and Frieza. There was friction between Frieza and some individual Saiyans, and that friction was never confrontational. And what I mean by that is that it was never like Frieza meeting face to face with some other Saiyan and then like sparks flew or whatever. Like that's not what any relationship was like. There something like that happened with King Vegeta and Frieza, like in filler in Dragon Ball Z. And I'll probably post a link to that in the description box below. But yeah, the point that I'm trying to make with all this is that the Saiyans were never resentful of Frieza. They respected Frieza and they willingly worked for him. And so that whole thing about how Frieza was like this taskmaster and how he was like a slave driver with the Saiyans is not true. Like that is not how it happened. The relationship was very much it was very much symbiotic. It was two people getting along and pretty much wrecking shit across the universe and killing people and pillaging their resources and their women and their planets and all that and using it for themselves. So, they could bask in the glory and the fame and the wealth, if you will, of cold hard cash and power and fame and all that. So that's how the relationship between Frieza and the Saiyans were, and I'll illustrate that more towards the end. But right now, I want to talk about Vegeta and his relationship with Frieza. So Vegeta, many people assume Vegeta hates Frieza because Frieza destroyed Vegeta's planet. He killed his parents and he killed his race. And the problem with that is, well, first of all, it's not true and that does not make Vegeta a tragic character. And the reason it doesn't make him a tragic character is because I'm quoting verbatim here. Vegeta does not care about the Saiyans. He does not care about his parents, and he does not care about his planet. And that's not me like interpreting statements or whatever. That is something Vegeta said. Goku didn't say it. Gohan didn't say it. Frieza didn't say it. Krillin didn't say it. Nappa and Raditz didn't say it. Vegeta himself said that he does not care about his parents. He does not care about his race, and he does not care about his planet. Or did I repeat planet twice? Planet, race, parents. Okay, I don't think I did. But yeah, that is something that Vegeta said, and it is true. It's true. Like if you look at his actions prior to when he said that, it's true that he doesn't care about them. And so you guys are probably asking like, when does he say this? And so, before I answer that, let's put myself or yourself in the shoes of someone who is new to Dragon Ball, and so let's just say I'm new to the franchise, new to the series. I don't know anything about the Androids arc or Boo or GT or Dragon Ball Super or the new movies, nothing. And so I started at Chapter 1 where Goku was this little kid with a big-ass knife on his shoulder just running along on the wooden wheel, and now I've come to the chapter where he's fighting Dodoria. And so, Vegeta versus Dodoria, I say versus because it's not really a fight, it was more of a one-sided stomp. It was more of a one-sided stomp, but the reason that entire quote-unquote fight is important is because that is the first time that we learn of not the first time, that is the time that we learn of Frieza destroying planet Vegeta. That quote-unquote fight with Dodoria is where it is quote-unquote revealed. That is where it is explained, shown, whatever the word is. And so yeah, that is the instance where it is quote-unquote revealed, and that is where we find out about Vegeta's feelings towards his race, his parents, and his planet. And so we realize that Vegeta is not mad. Right before he kills Dodoria, we as an audience, as readers, watchers, whatever, realize that Vegeta is not mad at Frieza because Frieza destroyed planet Vegeta. He's not mad at Frieza because he destroyed his parents. He's not mad at Frieza because he killed his race. Vegeta says this. He is mad at Frieza because he was quote-unquote unknowingly used by Frieza. And I say used in quotations because Vegeta was not used by Frieza in the same manner that Frieza uses the Ginyu Force or Dodoria or Zarbon. Vegeta was not used in the same manner that, if I were to reference other series, he was not used in the same manner that Aizen uses Tosen in Bleach, or the way that he quote unquote uses Gin in Bleach. He was not used in the same way that Sensui uses. If I were to use Yu Yu Hakusho, he was not used in the same way that Sensui uses the Game Master. Or that's actually a really good comparison. Vegeta was not used in that respect. Basically, what Vegeta did when he was under the employment, if you will, by Frieza, was Vegeta was allowed to do whatever he wanted. Vegeta was not treated badly in Frieza's army. Vegeta was made a top officer in Frieza's army. He was and Frieza hates the Saiyans, but he still made Vegeta a top officer in his army. Vegeta was allowed to kill as he pleased, take what he pleased, and get as strong as he pleased, as long as he was not as strong as Frieza. Frieza basically raised Vegeta as a kid. Frieza is the closest thing that Vegeta has to a father figure. Not King Vegeta. Not King Vegeta. I mean, King Vegeta probably did some parenting, just like things here and there, but Frieza was really the one that made Vegeta, who pretty much raised him as, Vegeta as a kid to someone as an adult. Frieza is really responsible for that. And so the relationship between Frieza and Vegeta there was no friction between them. There was no friction between them until Vegeta started to get older and his own lust for power and immortality started to overtake him, and that's what started to become Vegeta's goal, and that's why he started to seek out the Dragon Balls and all that. And so the relationship between Frieza and Vegeta was not one between a master and a slave, and the one between the Saiyans and Frieza was not one between master and slaves. It would have got to that point had the Saiyans rebelled, had they outspoken against Frieza, had they disagreed with Frieza on some super important, detail to his plan, or to some plan that he was making or something. It would have gone to that point had the Saiyans started to despise and dislike Frieza. But it never got to that point. The relationship between the two was very much symbiotic. It was one group and another group working together to, and I said this before in the video, but to get strength, to get more powerful, to revel in riches, to revel in fame and all that, and to pretty much do as they pleased. And so Vegeta does not, and so Vegeta does not hate Frieza because of Frieza killing his parents, his race, and destroying his planet. He hates Frieza because he believes that he was unknowingly used by Frieza. Vegeta believes that, and I'm saying Vegeta and Frieza so much that I'm kind of getting confused in my head right now. But yeah, so that's what the relationship between Frieza and Vegeta is, and I'll post some links in the description box below so that you guys can watch to see how Vegeta as a kid acted when he was around Frieza. And then I'll post another link to see how Vegeta how he reacted to the news as a kid when he learned that Planet Vegeta was killed or destroyed by a quote unquote meteor. I'll post that link in the description box below as well. But yeah, so that's the relationship between Frieza and the Saiyans. Not obviously. If you're a leader and if you're in a group, chances are you might not well be liked by every single member in that group, and chances are that you might not, every decision that you make as the leader of that group might not be agreeable with every single member. And so that was the case. That was the case with Frieza and some individual Saiyans. So Frieza really, the only time we saw a Saiyan hate Frieza, obviously besides Goku and Vegeta in the Namek arc, but in the past was when obviously Bardock both the TV special and Dragon Ball Minus, and then King Vegeta in television filler, which I will also post in the description box below. And so, King Vegeta hated Frieza, or started to hate Frieza, because Frieza thought himself to be that much more important than the Saiyans. King Vegeta got the notion that Frieza was looking down on the Saiyans, which he probably was, because Frieza thinks himself to be the best in the universe, thinks himself to be like so self-important, which is probably the case. That's why King Vegeta hated Frieza, and that was really the only notion, scenario, scene where sparks flew between a Saiyan and Frieza that did not include Goku or Vegeta in the Namek arc, that I can think of. And so that's one. And then scenario number 2 happens when obviously Bardock is trying to rebel against Frieza, because Frieza is going to destroy Planet Vegeta out of the fear of the Super Saiyan, and also because of Beerus' request, as we find out in Battle of Gods and Dragon Ball Super. And the third instance of a Saiyan sort of like disagreeing with Frieza is in Dragon Ball Minus, when Bardock's partner, who's with him in the ship, calls Frieza a bastard. But every other Saiyan in the series has called Frieza Frieza-sama, and they say it with a smile. They say it with a sense of pride. They're glad to work for Frieza. Okay, so that's what the relationship between Frieza and the Saiyans was like, and I'll post links to that also. So a lot of this, because I don't feel like editing and I'm lazy, I'll post a lot links to these in the description box below so that you guys can see it for yourselves. So that's pretty much the relationship between Frieza and the Saiyans. I don't think yeah, so that's okay. Yeah, so I think I'm pretty much done with the whole Saiyans as a whole Frieza relationship thing. Now I want to talk about Vegeta. And so yeah, I think I was talking about it earlier. Frieza was raised by Vegeta. He respected Frieza by calling him Frieza-sama as a kid, and then he eventually started to want to overthrow Frieza, not because of his race or his parents, or because his planet was destroyed, but because he himself wanted to be that kind of person, someone who killed people and wanted immortality and wanted to rule the universe with an iron fist. That's the kind of character Vegeta wanted to be, and Frieza was in the way of that, so that's why he wanted to overthrow him. And I'll showcase a clip of Frieza and Vegeta getting along, Vegeta as a kid getting along, and I'll post a link to that in the description box below. And so now I want to talk about why Vegeta is not a tragic character. And so, like I said before, so from the Dodoria fight, we learned that Vegeta he's not sad that his race was killed. He's not sad that his parents were killed, and he's not sad that his planet was destroyed. And even before that, we see that it's true. We're talking about a character that killed Nappa, knowing that Nappa was one of the last surviving members of his race. This is a guy that refused to revive Raditz, knowing that Raditz was one of the last surviving members of his race. So, we've seen Vegeta not care about the Saiyans. And you know, there was a Q&A interview by Toriyama, which if I can find it, I'll post it in the box below, where he says that Saiyans don't love one another. So Vegeta is not this patriotic person who cares about his Saiyan brethren or his Saiyan kin and wants to avenge them. That's not his character. And as a kid, and like I was saying like a couple minutes ago, when he learns that Planet Vegeta was destroyed falsely by a meteor, his reaction is just a simple, okay, so what? He's not sad, he's not traumatized, he's not distraught over the fact. He is indifferent to the fact that his parents were killed, to the fact that his race was killed, and to the fact that his planet was destroyed. That is his reaction as a kid. And that is from the TV special, of course. And King Vegeta didn't even care about his son. So remember how I said like I was going to post a clip of King Vegeta and Frieza, and I was going to and you know, like how you could see like that was really the only major instance, and it was pretty much filler, but that was really the only other major instance where sparks flew between Frieza and a Saiyan. That clip also serves to showcase King Vegeta's feelings towards his own son. And in that clip, you will see that King Vegeta does not even care about his son. King Vegeta does not care about Prince Vegeta. And he says that. Here's the quote is, I'm not preoccupied by such things as my son's life. He does not care about his son. He doesn't see him. He's not there to love his son. He's just there to... He's just another Saiyan to him. So and see, what's interesting about that is that this is among someone who's of Saiyan royalty and Saiyan nobility. You can understand like someone of Saiyan nobility and royalty not caring about a lower class soldier like Goku or Bardock or Raditz or whoever. But this is between the king and his son, the prince. The king does not care about his son. And that, the first time I saw that, that was like very like shocking to me, like because I thought, you know, King Vegeta would have at least loved his son, but that was not the case. And so yeah, like that's pretty much it. Vegeta does not care about the Saiyans. He doesn't, and he's not looking to avenge them. He's not looking to... does not make him a tragic character. And another reason why it doesn't make him why it does not make Vegeta a tragic character is because first of all, but the Saiyans are not good people. Again, the Saiyans were Frieza killing them was actually a good thing for the universe, because the Saiyans killed as they pleased. They pillaged other people's planets and resources as they pleased. And I'll post the quote in the description box below also. It's even implied that they raped the females of other species. And like I said, that's said when Vegeta and Nappa are flying towards Earth after Raditz is killed to fight Goku and to get the Dragon Balls and to be immortal. And so these were not good people. Saiyans were not good people. They were a race of terrible, mass-murdering psychopaths. If any sort of person like that was killed, that would be a good thing. That would be a good thing for the universe. Who wants serial killers on the loose? That's not tragic if they were killed off. That's a good thing that makes the universe safer. Of course, you know, it evokes pity because you wish that they could have led better, more moral lives, but them dying and because that they were wronged by Frieza when they themselves were terrible people, that is not evoking of pity. That should not be evoking of pity, and it isn't evoking of pity. It isn't evoking of pity. And so, yeah, that's the thing. That's pretty much the entire idea that Vegeta was this tragic character, that the Saiyans were a tragic race, is pretty much bullshit, because they were not good people. And even if Frieza was not there, they would have continued to do as they pleased in the universe and kill people and take whatever they wanted and sell planets and do this and that and as much as they pleased. And so that's the great thing about the Namek arc, because Vegeta is an asshole, Frieza is an asshole, and the Saiyans are assholes. And so it's pretty much like a bunch of terrible people fighting one another, which makes that series all the more raw, violent, bloody, gritty, and brutal. Okay? And so now I'm pretty sure like this entire video people are questioning, well, if Vegeta didn't care about the Saiyans, then why was he crying on his deathbed, and why did he say what he said in the new Frieza movie? Well, let me explain that. While it is true that Vegeta did shed tears during his death, and while it is true that he mentioned his father when he was dying, he was not crying because of his father's death. The reason Vegeta was crying was not because his race was killed. He wasn't crying because his planet was destroyed, and he wasn't crying because his father and whoever his unknown mother were killed. He was crying because his personal pride, dignity, and ego had been shredded to bits. Again, we're talking about a character that had killed Nappa with his own hand, knowing that Nappa was the last surviving member of his race. We're talking about a character that refused to revive Raditz, knowing that Raditz was one of the last surviving members of his race. We're talking about a character that killed innocent Namekians. Killed innocent Namekians just to become immortal in the end. To get their Dragon Balls and be immortal in the end. That is not tragic. If Vegeta truly cared about his Saiyan people, and he truly was patriotic about them, he would not have killed Nappa, and he would not have refused to revive Raditz. And so it's because he does not care about the Saiyan race. That is what makes him a non-tragic character, specifically in the Namek arc. That and the fact that he was a mass-murdering psychopath that pretty much killed every single innocent Namekian on Namek for the sake of the Dragon Balls, that makes him not a tragic character in the Namek arc. He was not a good person. He was a terrible person. And, and that's actually good for his character because that makes his turn in the Boo arc all the much more drastic and all the much more amazing. That's the reason I like him, because he changes into a better person. So yeah, the reason Vegeta was crying was not because of what he was. It's not because he cared about the Saiyans or his parents or his planet. The reason he was crying was because his dignity had been shredded, and he deserved it. He deserved every single beating that he got from, every single punch and kick that he got from Frieza during that fight. Because he was not a good person. He killed innocent Namekians. He killed as a kid. He cared for no one but himself. And so he deserved it. And so his death on Namek is not evoking of pity because of his past. And thus he's not a tragic character because of his past. Now, and I want to talk about the Frieza movie. The new Frieza movie at the end where he says, like, you destroyed Planet Vegeta, so I'm not going to follow your orders. First of all, I mean, that was a pretty stupid moment anyway, because everyone knew Vegeta was not going to kill Goku. Everyone knew that. But the reason that he mentions Planet Vegeta when he's fighting Frieza, or right before he's about to beat the shit out of Frieza, is because it's true he doesn't care about them, but there's still some emotional worth there. There's still memories and nostalgia, there's still an emotional attachment to the planet for him. And to sort of correlate that, or to sort of like give like an example of what he's feeling, I'll give you an example of my own personal life. High school. I mean, sure, there were some people, I had friends in high school, there were some people that I liked, some teachers that I was close with, but, Vegeta didn't have that. So I didn't really like high school much in the same way that Vegeta doesn't. It's not that he likes or doesn't like Planet Vegeta. He doesn't care for it. He just doesn't care for it. He doesn't dislike or like anything about Planet Vegeta. It's just indifferent to him. It's an indifference, something that doesn't matter to him. From a love and hate standpoint, I mean. But for me, I mean, I didn't really like high school as an overall experience. But it's still a place like where I grew up and where I matured and where I changed, and so because of that, even though I didn't like it, even though I regretted some stuff, and even though I thought that overall it was a bad experience for me, even though I did, there were some good things, but overall I didn't really like high school. There's still some emotional worth there, some nostalgic attachment for me, still there, and that is why Vegeta was so. That is why Vegeta mentioned Planet Vegeta against Frieza at the end of the Frieza movie when he beat the shit out of him. And I don't care if I spoiled you because the movie is crap anyway, or the movie's story is crap anyway. But so I think I've pretty much explained every facet of Vegeta's life and his relationship with Frieza and why he wasn't tragic and why he doesn't hate Frieza for destroying his planet or his race or his parents. And I will post the pieces of information accordingly to that in the description box below. And the one thing that I do want to talk about is, the last thing I do want to talk about is Vegeta's, quote-unquote, the way that he's tragic as a character. Vegeta is not tragic as a character in the Namek arc. but he is somewhat tragic in the Majin Buu arc, or in the Buu arc. And obviously I'm referring to the scenario where he explodes himself, and the reason it's tragic is because now Vegeta is finally a character who's capable of caring about someone other than himself. And he gives his life for the people that he cares about the most, Bulma, Trunks, and Goku. And so it's because he changes into finally somewhat of a good person. No, now I would say that he is a good person. Now at that point that he's changed into someone who is a good person, and because he fails, because Boo still survives, that is what makes it tragic. That is what makes him a tragic character. But the tragedy is downplayed because beforehand, at the World Tournament, Vegeta still killed innocent people. So the tragedy of his character is downplayed somewhat because of that. Because he wanted that fight with Goku. And so he is not that tragic a character as people make him out to be. Not only because of his past, but even because of the explosion. Had he not killed innocent people at the World Tournament, he probably still would have been a tragic character regardless. A really tragic character. Well, not a really tragic character, but still a tragic character in general. And he still is, but the tragedy to his character during the Buu arc is still downplayed because he killed those innocent people at the World Tournament. And when you kill innocent people, that's not really something that's evoking of pity. And that too for a selfish desire like fighting someone else, like fighting someone else in Goku. So yeah, I think I've covered all the bases that I wanted to touch in this video. If you guys, I guess I can do a little recap. So Vegeta is not tragic because of his past, because he doesn't care about the Saiyans, and we learn that when he fights against Dodoria. And the reason he hates Frieza isn't because of what Frieza did to his planet. The reason he hates Frieza is because he believes that he was unknowingly used by Frieza to further Frieza's own goals, and because Frieza was in the way of his goal of universal domination with an iron fist. And that was back then during the Namek arc. And so Vegeta now, and so I guess the last thing that I can talk about before I finish the recap is that Vegeta did not deserve to kill Frieza in the new movie because of his past. That is the one misconception that fans have about his character. If Vegeta had killed Frieza, the logical thing about his character, the logical route for his character would have been he wouldn't have killed him for his past, because now Vegeta is a good person now. Now Vegeta knows that the Saiyans are not good people. He does not care about serial killers. He does not care about people who want to go and kill people across the universe and partake in glory and fame and blood and all that. He's not that kind of Saiyan or person anymore. And so I would imagine that he despises that now. So the reason he would have killed Frieza in the new movie wasn't because of that. It wasn't because of his past. The reason he would have killed Frieza is because he was threatening Bulma, Trunks, and Goku. That was the only reason he would have killed Frieza. And because he was a threat to his new home planet in Earth. That would be the only reason that he would kill Frieza. Not because of his past. Not because Frieza killed King Vegeta. Not because he killed his mother. Not because he killed the Saiyans. Not because he destroyed Planet Vegeta. Because, again, we already know that Vegeta does not care about them. And so, to continue on with the recap, Vegeta does not care about the Saiyans because he tells Dodoria that. He's not a tragic character because of that, because not only does he not care about them, the Saiyans are not good people. And even now, especially now where Vegeta is a good person, he especially should not care about the Saiyans. Or Bardock or any of them. And so the relationship between Saiyans and the Frieza was not one between a master and a slave. It would have been that had things gotten out of control, had the Saiyans rebelled, outspoke against Frieza, done all these, pretty much rebelled against Frieza. It would have turned into that then. But because the Saiyans respected and were obedient to Frieza, not necessarily out of fear, but because they admired Frieza by calling him Freeza-sama, it never got to that point. Okay? So, I think this is... I kind of felt like this video, I could have organized it a little better, but I think I'm pretty happy with all the stuff that I explained. And I hope you guys check out the links in the description box below. And yeah, that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Peace, and I don't know what I'll do another one of these, but I'm glad you guys watched. Comment, like, subscribe, whatever you guys want to do. Dislike, flag, I don't give a fuck. And I'll try and do a live stream sometime soon. But for now, Metal Gear Solid 5. Thank you guys for watching. Please, peace, and have a great day.